Hello Tailoring Talkers. Bit of an unusual video this. I've just left Clarkson's farm shop. Little mecca for drivers there. I'm up in the Chipping Norton area and we thought we'd drop in on Clarkson's farm and buy some overpriced produce, which is lots of fun. But you might notice that the car I'm driving in is not the Qashqai that I did a review of a while ago. Actually, I'm driving a Merc GLA 200, which is fine. But I'll come back to why I'm driving this car in a second. So, cast our minds back to June of this year. The end of June was my daughter's birthday, and I booked some glamping nearby for her and a few of her friends. And on the day of her birthday, I was going to be dropping her and her friends to this campsite. We had a full packed car. And in the morning I took my son trampolining, and as I drove to the trampoline place, I could start to hear a rattling sound coming from the front of my car. And as we got nearer and near the trampoline place, the leisure centre, that rattling got louder and louder and louder. And when we got to the car park and I dropped my son off, I thought I'd give Nissan a quick ring. It was a Saturday morning, and see what they thought about this rattling. So they asked me to start the engine over the phone, and when I started the engine, they could hear it over the phone. They said, yeah, turn off the car. If we can hear that over the phone, then you're in trouble. Don't turn it back on again, call the RAC. So the RAC came out really quickly. If you remember back in June, in the UK, we had a little bit of a heat wave. It was about a third or fourth heat wave. It was very hot. The RAC were on high alert for people stuck in their cars in the weather. So they came out within about 18 minutes. Well, I say 18, it was exactly 18 minutes. I was very, very impressed with the RAC. And the guy took a look at the car and said, yeah, that sounds like the gearbox to the generator. So obviously the Qashqai generates power for the battery that drives the wheels. We talked about that in the last video. And the gearbox on the actual generator that alternates the demand on the charging had gone. Okay, so our car got towed away. Me and my son took a taxi home, and RAC then took the car in readiness to take it to the workshop in Nissan to be repaired. With Nissan, the service you get in terms of replacement cars and courtesy cars, RAC give you a car for the first 3 days. It's like a drive home assurance, so you can get home and get yourself sorted. After 3 days, I got a phone call from Nissan saying that I had to give the car back, but I didn't. No, sorry, not from Nissan, from Enterprise. But I didn't have a car to replace it. I mean, that was the only car we had. We were a one-car family. It turns out RAC held on to our car for longer than the 3 days. It had been put in the storage somewhere in Cherry Tree Lane, and Nissan hadn't actually received our car yet. And that's when the warning bell started, really, because we had Nissan and RAC on separate calls, refusing to talk to each other because of GDPR. Me having to be the go-between. It was quite stressful because I was at work at the time. And eventually I worked out a car replacement when they realised that Nissan still didn't have our car. Nissan gave us one anyway, so it was a little bit fiddly. I'm just overtaking some cyclists and being very careful because I'm a cyclist myself, so there we go. Anyway, so it didn't solve our problem, by the way, of taking my daughter to her birthday party. So I was very lucky. I borrowed a school minibus and drove the girls to the campsite on our school minibus. We eventually got given by Nissan, after the 4 days of car being in storage, a Peugeot 2008, which is not a like-for-like swap for our Nissan Qashqai. So we're a bit annoyed about that. And we had holidays lined up, camping holidays, and we needed a bigger vehicle. So I spent about 2 or 3 weeks going back and forth between Enterprise and Nissan, asking Nissan to give us a like-for-like swap, who refused, and Enterprise trying their best to fight my corner. I even phoned Nissan's head office, and they said, we'll look into it, and then rang back within about 5 or 6 hours saying, no, you're not getting a like-for-like car. Enterprise says that the 2008 is a like-for-like swap for a Nissan Qashqai. So I went back to Enterprise and they said, no, that's not true, we don't say that. Actually, a 3008 would be a like-for-like swap or similar vehicle. In the end, I got fed up with going backwards and forwards between the two of them, So Enterprise very kindly contacted Nissan, and when Nissan still said no to them, I was worrying about how we're going to pack our car for our camping holiday. Enterprise very, very kindly said, we'll take the hit. We'll take the hit and let you have a bigger vehicle, which is this Merc I'm driving now, so you can do your holidays. However, I still couldn't take everything I needed on the holiday because hire cars don't allow you to use, hire companies don't allow you to use the roof racks. So we had to kind of not take certain things with us, and it kind of put a bit of a damper on the holiday. But you know, first world problems and all that. At least we got to go. Just before we were about to leave for our camping holiday, we got a phone call from Nissan saying we've had a real problem ordering the fuel line, and also the aircon pipe isn't available yet either. We need to order that as well. So would you mind having the car back but without air conditioning? And by now this was sort of the middle of August. We were like, no thank you. We want air conditioning on a hot day in our car. We're going on a long journey, we need air conditioning. Hold on to it until the aircon's fixed. It turns out that we wouldn't have been able to have the vehicle anyway, because a couple of weeks later we got another phone call from Nissan, and they said, well, there's a problem. We've put all the lines back into your car, but the car won't start. So I asked them, what are you going to do about that? And Nissan says, well, we're going to try and change the engine, put a new engine in, see if that fixes it. It could be possibly a problem with the engine. So they did that. We waited another couple of weeks, then got another phone call back. Well, actually, I didn't get any phone calls from Nissan. I had to phone them to find out what was going on. So we got made another phone call to Nissan, and they told us that they couldn't get the car to start after replacing the engine, and they replaced the engine again. So 2 different engines that got into our car, and they still couldn't fix it. At this stage, and you're probably thinking the same, at this stage, I'm thinking this car's a lemon, I don't want it back. So I asked them, look, wouldn't it be easier just to replace the car with a brand new car, or even a like-for-like car with similar mileage, same model but similar mileage? And Nissan said, we don't do that, we don't replace cars, we always fix them. Now, it's been over 3 months now. I'm paying quite a lot of money a month for a car I don't have, and I'm not particularly impressed with this. So I called Nissan last week, UK, they're the head office, not our dealership, not our service dealership, and they said, you not having a car for 3 months is ridiculous. This was the formal complaints line I called by now, and they said, we're going to look into this for you, it's ridiculous that you haven't had a car for 3 weeks, we'll get back to you within a week. They haven't got back to me so far, but I'm at that stage now where I've left it with Nissan UK's complaints department. But I don't believe I really want this car back anyway. I'm paying a lot of money a month for it, and I'm a bit concerned because when we first bought the car, within 2 weeks of driving it, and it was about 14 days old, the car when we bought it, there was a weird grinding noise coming from the front of the car, and it turns out that the shims, which are the parts of the vehicle that regenerate the battery, were misaligned and grinding. So they replaced those, and we took the car back. The grinding sound carried on, and it turns out that not only were the shims grinding, but the rear cowling on one of the tyres, the actual bodywork, was scraping our rear tyre. So we took it back in, got it replaced, but they were asking me to pay for the new tyre, which had been caused by the problem with the car. So I refused to do that, and eventually Nissan acceded and let me have a free tyre as well. Within that, the 18 months we've had our car, we've also had to take it back for software updates when the limpo mode kept coming on. The issues we currently have with the gearbox, the fact we haven't got a vehicle at the moment, all of this has kind of convinced me I don't really want this car back. So what I'm trying to do here is ask you, our viewers, are there any experts out there, any legal experts, anybody who has some sort of experience with this situation that could perhaps give me some advice on what the next step is to do? I mean, I'm normally telling you stuff about stuff, but I quite like some feedback on this. I'm not impressed, and what I want to do really at this stage is go to the press, get some awareness of what's going on, and seeing if that kind of jogs Nissan's proactiveness into doing something, and also just to get some experience on how we would deal with this. So leave a comment if you have any experience on this. You can even leave smallest violin emojis if you want to as well in the comments, but I want to know what to do next. I'm not impressed. We actually really liked our car when it was working, and I'd like to have it back, so let me know. As always, do like and subscribe to our channel, watch this space for more content, and I'll see you soon on the next video or podcast. Cheers.